So now let's look at the stock market. Stock market, what I said in the last week was that I thought that this week was going to have a reversal day. Now, I admit that I thought the reversal day was going to come a little bit earlier in the week than it did. Still, the pattern is holding up, and the amount of reversal that we're seeing today in the indexes is huge. And that, especially in the Nasdaq, which has had just a monstrous decline here on Friday, as there's been some massive reversals, which if you watch the Market Week show, I'm going to put those reversals up on Market Week, and you'll be able to see the FANG stocks and the kind of reversals that they have, which I think are pretty major tops. So let's take a look at the S&P 500 in here. Momentum, I'll show you in a moment, is still strong, but the pattern is just really nice. Now, the market moved, just doing nothing early in the week as it just chopped around, gave you these dojis in here. What we had, of course, I had to adjust this by a little bit because it made a high today. What we had expected was a trend like this, in other words, coming down towards into the beginning of next week. And what it did was it got its head picked up in here and then gave you the reversal right in here. So you can see this day is engulfing the last 3 days, and that is a problem for it. Now, we expect that it's going to have another day or two down right in here early part of the week. It might even get below this 38% and then turn up right in here. So we're going to look for a decline of 2 or 3 more days and then turn up. But based on what we're seeing here, this looks like it could be a major top and a major correction ready to start as we expected. And then if this rally doesn't get that far and then reverses down again, you'll know it's in place. See the head and shoulders as I draw that right there? So something like that is what I think is going to happen. We're going to call down 1 or 2 more days, turn up maybe by Wednesday, into the rally into the following week, and then some real significant selling potentially coming in after that. So that is a much more negative picture. Now, when you look at this pattern in here, the projection oscillator is oversold right now. So it's likely that, we're going to get a bounce in here, but I don't think that the bounces are going to be able to hold up very well. Let's switch over to the Nasdaq, and you're going to see this dramatic reversal here in the Nasdaq. Look at that massive bar. As it gets under that minor support, we're going to be reestablishing what that level is, as it just got under it really fast in here. So why don't I just put that in here so that you can see right there. So we're going to be approaching the 78.6% again. So we've already gotten underneath the next support level. So what are the next levels after that? Well, we're going to grab our tool right over here and just put those in for you to see. Those are the next supports right in here, and it looks like we're going to come down and test that level right there. So that would be around 56.28 on the Nasdaq, maybe down to that cycle low support at 55.61. This looks to me like a lot of trouble and another few days potential on the downside. You could see it trying to bounce today in here, but the damage is done, and that is likely to be a lot more. Also note that the upside projection in here, this confluence right there came off of this cycle right in here. These projections right in here came off of this cycle right here. It gets into that area that's normally the target zone above the 78.6%, and then has the big failure. So that's significant, and we think that means that there is more coming and that a pretty good top is in place. Take a look here as we look at the momentum, and this still positive, but now turning sharply under the slim ribbon, and projection oscillator oversold. So again, you're likely to get a bounce, but we don't think that the bounce is going to hold in there. Now the Russell is much stronger. Take a look what happened here in the Russell as a rotation came into the market. So they're buying the laggards in there, and that's what pushed the Russell up, and that one is likely to remain stronger because they think that after this correction that the rotation is going to continue. I have doubts about that and think that we're going to see the rotation fail. But take a look here at these cycles, and you can see this monstrous looking huge shooting star right over here. So even though it's strong and was up significantly on the day, it's got this big, what looks like gravestone doji forming in there, and that's bad. We'll look for some continued downward chop, but then based on what I'm seeing in here, we're likely to see this move to new highs in 2 weeks while the rest of the market lags. And then if you see that and this moves to new highs and the rest of the market lags and then this rolls over, then you know they'll all be in gear on the downside. So you can see here that strength right there. And when I look at the intraday patterns, what's going on in here, let me just come in a little bit tighter in here for you to see. And you can see that the this downturn, you've got negative momentum on the Nasdaq. It's become very, very significantly weaker in there, and that is looking like the start of something, if you ask me. So that does look pretty weak. Now, what I said about the VIX last week was that I thought that it was going to have maybe 3 or 4 more days to the downside. Well, it went down to 939, 937 on the downside. And then had a big reversal to the upside. I think it's going to 15 in the next couple weeks or higher. You can see the almost perfect cyclicality in here as it made that 937 low today and then bounces way up into the 12s. I mean, just absolutely huge when you see that. And I think that you're going to see much higher VIX into that 15 level in the next couple of weeks. So this, I think, is the beginning of that, the beginning of the end of the complacent period that we've been in. You know, that period where you could just buy anything and they just go up, right, as far as all the techs and all that stuff go in the indexes. I think that's over with. And so the beginning of this VIX pop, and I think that that is the start of a pretty good correction. So as far as the stock market goes, we'll see if rallies hold when they bounce, and whether or not the big failure comes and the big correction that I have been expecting for more than the last 5 or 6 weeks since I did that big picture video, and they have chopped around and edged up to new highs. And even more. So timing not spectacular on the bigger picture, but overall I think it's going to ultimately be correct. So that is the short-term view for the week. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next segment. I hope you enjoyed that video. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also go to askSlim.com and become a Level 1 member. No cost to you, and we have some special videos for you to see. I know you'll enjoy it.